Hi everyone, the Grove of the Nations, the Tulip Nature Reserve, the Haas credit card, photographer and evacuee presents photo exhibition, and our good news update. This is Israeli Salad. Shalom and welcome to Israeli Salad. Many world leaders visit Israel throughout the year, some for official meetings and some for just polite visits. JNF, the Jewish National Fund, found a way to let every leader leave something in the land of Israel. Let's visit the Grove of the Nations. Presidents and prime ministers planning a visit for Israel from now on will be adding a visit to the Jerusalem forest in order to plant a tree. In the Jerusalem forest on the hill of Mount Herzl, the Jewish National Fund established the Grove of the Nations, and so far, 13 world leaders have planted trees here.
This whole area is a very national area. We're not far from the military cemetery, from Yad Vashem, Mount Herzl. This area represents the foundation of the state.
7 different varieties of trees have been planted in the Grove of the Nations.
Each one of our trees is treated with care. We spread out a nylon sheet that prevents any grass from bothering the growing of the trees. Almost every leader asks his ambassador here to take care of the tree and to make sure that it's being watered properly.
And does this really happen?
No, I haven't seen anyone come here to inspect, but anyhow, we in JNF take care of the trees and help them grow and flourish. We hope to have a lot with big trees that will be an essential part of the Jerusalem forest.
שתוכל בעתיד, היום היא קטנה, עצים קטנים, לא כל כך גדולים, החלקה תצמח ותהווה חלק מהיער הגדול הזה, יער ירושלים.
Those were trees. Now let's see some flowers as we go off to visit the Dor HaBonim, the Generation of the Builders Nature Reserve. Enjoy the view. Mishenichnas Adar, as the month of Adar begins, the country of Israel begins to bloom. On the hills, the coastline, and the mountains, you can find spectacular flower beds. The Dor HaBonim Nature Reserve is located on the Mediterranean Sea Beach. It includes a 4.5-kilometer strip of shore. This beach is one of the most beautiful and interesting shores of the Mediterranean Sea. In the reserve that begins in the south at Tel Dor and ends at Moshav HaBonim in the north, you can see the shore with the most inlets in Israel. On the month of Adar, one of the most beautiful parts of the site is the Tulip Hill. Thousands of red tulips create a red carpet. The red interlaces with the magnificent green.
This is our Tulip Mountain, a proud Israeli tulip mountain, with many colors that you can see when you look from up close. The sea and the winds here prevent trees and high plants from competing with the tulips. The tulips are able to survive and flourish, and it's also great that no jeeps or other 4x4 vehicles drive here and destroy the blooms.
Touring the site, every corner will astonish you. Look one way and see a blue ocean. Look the other way and you can see the laminium flower. And then, out of nowhere, the orchid is standing right in front of you. As we said, this reserve is the shore with the most inlets in Israel. In these inlets, you can find thousands of shells that have gathered here. Some of these shells are connected to producing colored dye.
This is the shell of a snail that can produce mauve dye. In ancient times, in the old city of Dor, not far from here, they used to collect these snails and produce mauve dye.
In the entrance to the site, you can visit the Center for the Living Sea. These skeletons can teach us about the life underwater.
כל התצוגה שיש לנו פה היא תצוגה מפרטים שהגיעו לחופי ארץ ישראל. זה לא משהו שהבאנו.
These are all skeletons that reached the shores of Israel. Nothing here was imported. Here we could see the bottom jaw of a whale. This is just his bottom jaw, and this isn't even the biggest part that reached the shores of Israel.
זה עדיין לא הפרט הכי גדול שביקר בארץ ישראל. פרט בוגר לגמרי מגיע ל-24 מטרים.
So hurry up and catch this red and yellow celebration of colors at the Habonim Nature Reserve. The next report is about the expulsion from Gush Katif and the Shomron. Now I know that some of you might be saying, another expulsion report, enough already. However, I think that the latest reports that prove that the evacuees were neglected by the government shows us that they are still in need of much support. And so any way we can help them express themselves is important. The photo exhibition we will now see is one of the ways to express these feelings. Ze haya beiti, this was my home, is a new photo exhibition now open in the Masa Acher Photography Academy in Tel Aviv. The photographs were taken by Shimrit Shoham Haddad.
מה שרואים בטלוויזיה ומה שרואים בתערוכות אחרות או כל מיני דברים כאלה זה קצת יותר כולל. פה אני חושבת שזה...
What was seen on TV and also what you see in other photo exhibitions is more general. Here you can see a personal exhibition. I was in the Gush. I experienced it all. I grew up there and was influenced tremendously. This is an opportunity to let the public share some of our experiences with us.
Shimrit worked during the expulsion as a photographer for a news company. She documented from up close the expulsion of her family from Netzer Chazani. Doron Horowitz, the exhibition curator, knows that Shimrit's experience was unique for a photographer.
החשש הוא שהצורה של המבט האישי תכפה עלינו לבנות פריים מסוים.
In most cases, it's a disadvantage because the personal look might make us create frames that will be through our own angle. People will say, okay, these pictures come from one point of view. When one is able to create photos that everyone can connect to, no matter what the political opinion is, if one can present his or her experience to everyone, that's the greatest thing for a photographer.
לצד הנוסף, אני חושב הגדולה הכי גדולה של צלם. ולכן תמיד שאני...
A picture is worth more than 1,000 words, and so these 30 photos present 30,000 words worth. Shimrit did a great job.
היו לי הרבה מקרים שפשוט רציתי לזרוק את המצלמה.
I had many cases where I felt like throwing away the camera and joining my friends. As a photographer, you think mainly about the frame and the picture. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't have an exhibition with all these memories. This is all we have left.
לא הייתה תערוכה ולא היה לי גם זיכרונות, זה הדבר היחיד שנשאר לנו מהמקום.
And so for Shimrit's family, this exhibition is a living monument for what was once their beloved home and community.
It was our palace. You see this garden? This is the backyard. Yes, it's difficult. Very difficult.
קשה מאוד.
Please send your comments, ideas, and questions to the Israeli Salad email, yoni@israelnn.com, or leave a message on the Israeli Salad voicemail at international dialing code 972-3918-5554. That's 972-3918-5554.
And now let's learn about a new credit card that is used to support Israel. Shalom to Zev Dobuler, co-founder and CEO of Heritage Affinity Services.
Shalom, Yoni. How are you?
Fine, Baruch Hashem. So tell us about the new product that your company issues, a unique product that supports the state of Israel.
Well, Heritage Affinity Services has launched the first ever Support Israel credit card in the United States. The card is issued in conjunction with U.S. Bank, which is the sixth largest bank in the U.S., and Visa USA. And the card has two main functions which support Israel. The first function is a charitable function. Every time the cardholder uses their card, no matter where, no matter for what, a certain percentage of that purchase is donated to an Israeli organization of their choice from within the network of 18 organizations which have partnered with HAS. Organizations such as One Family Fund, Jewish National Fund, Shari Tzedek Hospital, Zichron Menachem, Amit, etc. So the cardholder designates which charity they'd like to support. That's the first component of the card, the charitable component. The second component of the card is a rewards component. The card is competitive with the best reward programs out there. You can use your points for domestic travel, for international travel, for merchandise, for magazines, gift certificates, etc. What Heritage Affinity Services does that no other credit card in the world does is it actually allows you to use your points for Israeli products, for blue and white products, for travel to Israel. So yes, we offer the standard TV and we offer domestic travel, but we also offer flights on Halal, and we also offer using your points at the Dan and Sheridan for free room nights. So we hope that you use your points, and we hope that cardholders use their points for traveling to Israel and using their points for Israeli products, gift certificates, etc. The third function of the card is what we call the Partners in Solidarity Network, that when cardholders shop at partner locations, and one of the reasons that I was just in Israel is to launch our Israel office, is to launch our Partners in Solidarity Network, which is a network of merchants throughout the country, museums, restaurants, and other tourist locations, Judaica stores, etc., that give double points when cardholders shop at these locations. And what that does is it encourages spend, and in addition, our charities receive an additional donation. So when someone walks into a Judaica store or into a watch store, and they have to make the decision, I need a $500 watch. Let me buy that watch here, where I can get 1,000 points, as opposed to buying it elsewhere, where I can get 500 points. So the double point network really puts an emphasis on continuing supporting the Israeli economy by buying additional Israeli products. So in essence, what the card does is it helps charities, it helps get you to Israel through El Al, Sheridan, Dan, and also promotes blue and white products, whether you're spending at partner locations that give you discounts and benefits for buying them, or using your points for blue and white products.
Zev, tell me, who's your target audience? Is this only for the Jewish population?
Absolutely not. This is not the Jewish credit card. This is the Support Israel credit card. And anyone that supports Israel, whether you're Jewish, whether you're not Jewish, whether you're evangelical Christian, this card, if you support Israel, this card is for you. So, absolutely, this is not the Jewish credit card. It is the Support Israel credit card.
Now, how did the banks respond to this idea? Were they concerned about any anti-Israel backlash?
You know, we negotiated with numerous banks before we finalized with U.S. Bank, which was the correct choice. And there was really only one bank that was concerned about an Israel backlash. U.S. Bank was not concerned about an Israel backlash. You know, we can tell you, Yoni, that the program is not political. There's nothing political about the program. The program supports the people of the state of Israel. The program supports hospitals. It supports the merchants on the ground. So it supports handicapped children. There's nothing political about it. We can tell you that political organizations from left and from the right have approached us to join the program and be supported by the program. And our decision is to stay mainstream, to stay with the humanitarian causes in order for this program not to go off on the sidelines.
Zev Dobuler, co-founder and CEO of Heritage Affinity Services, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck.
Yoni, thank you very much.
And now, our Good News Update, Mark Kaplan, is in the studio. Mark, this time we're talking about economics.
Well, Yoni, it sounds like there's good news. Good news that people owe us money. Israel has its economic problems, but it turns out Israel has become a large-scale international lender in the past 3 years, with global sources owing Israel $23 billion as the end of last year. Global debt to Israel rose 92% over the past year. Most of the debt is to the private sector, and Israeli banks are owed $3.1 billion. The public Israeli sector, though, led by the government, continues to borrow in order to recycle debts and cover budget deficits. Israel's gross external debt was $75.5 billion in 2005, a drop of $250 million. So, Yoni, a lot of numbers here, enough to make your head spin, but the bottom line is that it seems that people owe Israel big time. Back to you, Yoni.
Thank you very much, Mark, and thank you all for joining us. That's all for this week. Join us again next week for another program. Until then, from all of us here at INN TV, Shalom.